Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to a roundabout somewhere near Longmoor Camp, just off the A3. I've got a session tonight of 10 minutes threshold, so I've picked a segment to go alongside of the A3 that I need to reclaim back from years ago, see if I can make it. And then I got 5x400 straight after. So I thought, yeah, I haven't done a video for a while about training, just want to reassure people that I still am training. Still keen to do 800s and 1500s this summer on the track. So I hope you like these little walkthroughs of the sessions. I mean, they're not the most compelling of content. I saw Floberg Run saying, when he was interviewed by Sweat Elite, that, you know, sometimes you get these 10 out of 10 videos which you just enjoy making, but you know that they won't do that great because there's no catchy phrase, there's no London Marathon racing or analysis or anything like that. But it's kind of the bread and butter of training, and if I'm a running YouTuber, I like to think first and foremost I'm a runner, not a YouTuber, especially with 6,000 subscribers. By the way, thanks very much for that, much appreciated. Seemed to take me forever to get from 5,000 to 6,000, but I keep plugging away and I hope some of you enjoy it. There's a few people that have sort of like raced past me, but maybe I'd race past them in an actual race. So yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed my training analysis videos for Manchester and London marathons. It was interesting. I thought that not many people really seem to actually do as best as they perhaps hoped for. I did wonder whether, with a few of them, whether they spent so long sort of doing shakeout runs and just wandering around the town the day before, they were just knackered on race day. But just goes to show sometimes that if you're not an elite athlete, you have to make your living by some means. Anyway, right, so we're going to crack on with this run and then we'll report back on how things have gone later on, I think. I don't think you really want to see me running alongside day 3 with a load of noise, but I'm sure there is a cycle path, so it's very safe. And also this is very near Longmoor Military Railway, which has got a nice 10k loop. It's almost exactly around the old track, and there's a few offshoots that used to go around here. So the actual railway sort of track bed was literally behind me through those trees there. So I've spent many an hour running around here, and I'll just show you a map of where I am. I think I was 6 seconds short according to my Garmin. I thought it was saying got 6 seconds up. I didn't really look closely enough, but I felt like I was going quite hard there, and maybe that's all I got. I think I set this course record back in about 2015, 2016. So now it's sort of 9 years on. I do feel I've actually slowed a fair amount. I mean, back in the day, a 6-minute mile pace, especially down here, would have felt reasonably comfortable. Now that kind of feels like race pace. But maybe that's kind of the acid thing. I mean, I saw a video the other day, I forget who, was kind of making the point that elite triathletes do also race a lot. So I haven't really done that many races, let's say 5k pace, that sort of effort. And I did notice in 2019 when I started doing a lot of park runs and other races that, you know, slowly the times ebbed down. Obviously had a few bad ones along the way, but the more time you race, the more chance you get of actually having a good race in terms of the weather and how you felt. So yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts for sure. Anyway, got a little rest now, and we're moving to these 400s. Now, is that a milestone there, or just a pretend one? I do wonder if that stone there was actually this BS boundary stone. On the left here, just past these cars, I think is where the track of the old railway used to be, because the actual Longmoor sort of 10k trail round the old railway didn't actually exactly on it. I think at this point here is why it's so straight and flat. I think the railway did actually sort of come through those trees you can see past those red cars there. So we can see if you see any signs of old railways there along the way. And if you can see there through the trees, it looked like some concrete posts that maybe used to delineate some sort of railway or something. Very hard to see. I don't want to sort of go too far in because it's sort of really overgrown, but so we can find a bit, we can actually go in a bit nearer. I've got my white Vaporfly 2s on today, so I don't want to get them too muddy. Oh, here we go, we can actually walk up to one. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's one there, and there's a few more up here that look like they were some sort of railway. And maybe it was the track bed. You can kind of see how that might have been a track bed. Any railway boss, would you say that's a railway post delineating the line? It does look a very slight, shallow cutting here, doesn't it? Which is sort of symptomatic to a railway. And you can also see here the railway that went pretty much parallel to Longmoor Road. I can just about make out Longmoor Road there, which used to be basically the old A3, didn't it? So the railway used to basically go adjacent to it. So I think what we're seeing there in the overgrowth is basically this remnants of the track here, just on this little bit of section here, and it sort of shot off into the distance. That bit's all kind of been obliterated now, but if you then follow it back on, it does eventually come back into this bit here that you can sort of actually run, but the actual main course goes to the side of it. Anyway, ideal for my 400 meter reps. With these, I'm just going to sort of run it in a straight line and set the Garmin, I think, to bleep at me at 0.25 miles. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set my auto lap to 0.25 miles. It's currently on miles at the moment. So if we go into settings, run settings, and then laps. So I've got it on mile auto default at the moment. Let's just change it to 0.25. It's near enough to 400, just slightly over, isn't it? But that'll do. Doesn't really work it in miles today. And then when I next press the auto lap, I can just run then for 0.25 miles until it bleeps, and I know where I'm done. I should really be jogging actually at this point. I was a bit annoyed to miss that CR by 6 seconds, although I thought it was nice and easy on the way out, but then the wind must have been whatever that was slightly helping, so making my excuses. Although running downhill with a slight breeze against should have been possible, shouldn't it? But not to be. Anyway, so maybe we'll start from A3 tyres here, who are clearly a shot at the moment. Oh, that was a 79. That felt far too hard. So I think it felt more like a 100 meter pace. So I'm going to have to drill this down a bit, I think. Although having said that, I do want to try and break 5 minutes 1500 this summer, hopefully before too long as well. So I need to get used to that pace. That's what I'm saying about being Pacific. I've been doing quite a lot of mileage, I think, maybe almost actually doing these easy runs a bit too hard, a bit too long. Matt says to do an hour easy, and sometimes I do an hour and a quarter, perhaps not easy. Classic mistake. Even if you get coached, you don't often do what you're told. So yeah, definitely lesson learnt there. But let's see if we can get the rest of this session done and report back later. Okay, session done. Last two were about 83, 84. Struggling with lactic there a bit, but that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? So yeah, I think it just needs to be a bit fresher for some of these sessions, but it's all good stuff. All part of the training. No medals are won today or lost. It's just a psychological thing. I'm pushing myself. Maybe I need to see if I can get back to doing a few sessions with my Walton mates. I do tend to like to do my sessions on my own, don't I? Which does make them hard, especially these ones, but at least you can kind of control exactly what you're doing, and Bat sets me a session, I can do it however I like, really. Right, so I've just got 2 more streets to collect, and I'll have a look at the stats indoors. Hope you find this interesting, like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, or in a minute, as the case may be. And for Ben Notley and his trail friends, bit of mud on hills alert on this road for sure. So here's my Strava of my run, the one at Longmoor here. So overall I did 8 miles, just over 8 miles in 1 hour 10. Average pace doesn't mean a lot in these things because obviously quite a lot of stopping. It was sort of like drizzly sort of weather, but fortunately it wasn't too cold, 15 degrees. Bit of wind, which was largely not helping down the A3. So the segment here actually missed out by 6 seconds, which is a bit annoying. Starts off just the other side of the roundabout where I filmed that, just down the side of the A3 on the cycle path, until you get to Longmoor Road, where I did the 400s later. So yeah, rather annoying. I put the segment on my Garmin thinking that it would guide me along, but I rather misread it, and I saw 1 second ahead, 3 seconds ahead, 5 seconds ahead, 6 seconds ahead. I thought I was ahead and I was actually behind. So the guy here did 7:34 for the CR and I did 7:40. And if we look at the comparison of the two, and yeah, you can see that it was sort of more or less level until about halfway, and then I just lost it at the end. I thought it was working hard. If I look at my other results, last time I did this was a 7:47 back in 2016, and I averaged 133 heart rate. It's interesting to look back at that now. I mean, it was 8 years ago, basically, wasn't it? So I think that was the height of my CR bashing effort. So I think I did this one as kind of like almost a warm-up. So I took that one, then I had a go at this one really up Queen's Road, a sort of a medium length one uphill quite steeply, and I've still got that one over Daniel Alloway, who's running very well. Chris Detmar, very good runner locally, so don't tell them I've still got that, they might be out to get it. And then I went down the other way. That's obviously been beaten, but only by a second, so maybe have a go at that one. And then basically I did perhaps the hardest one of the effort, which would have been this long one along Longmoor Road there, and that was 5:04 pace, which is basically quicker than I was managing in the 400s. So that just goes to show. But at the time I was running about 2:15 for 800, so at the moment it's 2:26 my best time, and that one has not been touched, fortunately. And then I had one more go, basically running back up the A3 again, and I did 7:39. So actually that was 1 second quicker than I managed going the other way, and that one is more or less uphill, but it often depends on the wind. And that subsequently has been beaten by Chris Detmar at 7:30 and Phil Briggs at 7:38, although obviously perhaps I can have another go at that sometime. Just look at my stats from back then in these efforts. So just have a look at my cadence, like 186, and the really quick bit there, 192. So I don't think my stats have changed too much, but I did notice that my average heart rate was a bit lower then. If you then compare it to what I did the other day, then in the fast section, where's the fastest section? Let's take this 504 cadence. Yeah, it's pretty similar actually. If anything, it's gone down slightly, but maybe been going a bit slower. But I did notice that my heart rate was slightly higher in this first bit there. I think it was averaging 140 and I was averaging in the 130s before. So that just goes to show that I was trying a lot harder. And yeah, 8 years on, 57 now rather than 49. Things are getting ever harder. We just look at the splits for these things. So let's have a look. The first 400 here, or it was 79 seconds, 5:16 pace. These are all pretty much flat. And then just ebbed out slightly, 79, 80, 81, and then 84. That one kind of finished up a bit of a track, so make my excuses, that was slightly harder. And then another 84 to finish. So again, yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, it was all fighting lactic at the end. So yeah, good session, but you know, sometimes you think, oh, I wish I was a bit younger and faster. Let's have a look at my training log of late. So last week I did 57 miles, haven't done my run today yet, 41 miles. Feeling a bit tired at the moment, so I don't think I'll go too far today. But yeah, good mileage last week. That's perhaps why I'm feeling tired. So 44 miles, 53 miles, 39 miles. It's all quite good miles really, 42. Not quite enough for a marathon training, but I'm sure you could run a decent marathon off this sort of work. The big difference, of course, I'm not doing the long runs here. My long runs here, 10 miles, 10 miles. 10 miles again, 11 miles, another 10 miles, that was a session. Did 12 miles there, and then 10 miles. That was a very hilly one. I felt absolutely knackered after that run last week. So today I think I'll keep it a bit easier. Although I did do 10 miles on Tuesday. So in the week I've been tending to do a session on a Wednesday, and then usually a Saturday, and then the other days are basically just easy days. I did decide to have a rest on Thursday, I was just knackered. And then, yeah, so basically 2 sessions a week. One is kind of like shorter intervals, and then we'll go on to this one here, which was the Ropley session. Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay for a bit of a bonus session. I'm doing my Saturday session at Ropley here in Hampshire. Years ago I did the Ropley 10k, so I need to do some of these streets again, the ones I missed off before. And I've got a progressive session tonight, so I'm doing 1 minute interval, then a 2 minute interval, 3 minute interval, 5 minute interval, 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, and then finish off by 30 seconds. So I played golf this morning, so I've sort of been taking it easier today. Emergency bit of power of 10 work, had a bit of a to renew the SSL certificate. Anyway, so all that done, and then just nice actually summer's evening for a start. Well, it's sort of springish, isn't it? But actually I've got a singlet on, I've got the all pink gear today, I've got the pink Vaporflies, and I've got the pink, well, sort of the burgundy shorts and the pink top, so yeah, very pink as it were. So let's get on with the warm-up and then crack on to this session. Okay, the warm-up done. It's nice and sunny evening, I must say. Don't think we'll go up that way, should we? Swelling Hill, and then we're on Gascoigne Lane. So I've just done a few little cul-de-sacs around here. I think I might take this road in front of me for the first minute interval, so just get a quick stride in before we go. And then I think it's the first minute, just feel that one in, and then a minute recovery, and then it sort of gets progressively harder. Well, it depends, because I think if the idea of the 5 minute ones, the longest one will be to run that a bit easier, shall we say. So, right, we're checking after the first one. Actually, I might leave my GoPro on this telephone box there, and you can see me flashing past. Okay, first 2 done. The minute and the 2 minute one. So we're straight into the 3 minute one now. Alright, let's get going. Just feeling a bit stiff today. Groin feels a bit stiff. I think my feet all morning on the golf round. But yeah, I played right 90 gross, no pun intended, and play off 14 in this competition. My handicap index is 12.4, 100% handicap is 15, but you play off 95%, so it's very confusing. Anyway, that's it at the end of this 3-minute one. 3-minute one done. That felt a bit better. I think it was slightly downhill though, so about 6:09 pace for the, basically it was a half a mile run really. So I got the tough one, the 5-minute one, and then back into the 3, 2, 1. So psychologically, just get this 5-minute one out of the way, and not too bad. We're coming up to the A31, so I'm hoping I can run along the side of the main road this time of day and cut back in. There won't be too much traffic, as it were. Anyway, I think I've got a generous recovery in this one. Another 30 seconds. I should give me a minute and a half after this one. So yeah, I feel a bit stiff today, but I've got a Vets League 1500 next race Monday week, so soon we'll get a bit of speed in the legs for that. Right, let's put the camera down for this next one then. So the 5-minute one done by the side of the main A31 here towards, so we're just coming through Ropley. Not too bad. There is a little pavement on the side, but you get a few people from cars not expecting pedestrians or runners, so I really got to be on the lookout for that. And yeah, we don't run down the middle of the road like I normally do. Anyway, I think that was slightly wind behind as well, so we'll go up to the next roundabout, do a U-turn around that, and then come back out for the 3 minutes. I suspect that might be a bit tougher into this wind, but we'll get a little fly for this first bit from that Buster, I think. Anyway, yeah, so we're over halfway now, having done the 5-minute one at least. Right, 20 seconds and we're off. Okay, 3-minute one done. Just as we head into Ropley here, got a Shell garage if you ever stopped there on the A31. Right, I only got a minute recovery. Now it's only now the 2-minute and then the 1 minute. Going to come to the 30-second sprint, so not too bad. It's actually, the wind has dropped quite a lot actually, so feeling it's a nice balmy early summer's evening. I think we have to call it summer, don't we, because we've had a little bit so far. Right, 15 seconds then, 2 minutes back up the road here, and off we go. And someone's been with me, I don't know who that is. Oh, you can smell the Bombay here for sure. Right, it's a 2-minute and 1 minute done. Just got these 30-second sprints to go. I think I'll just double back towards Ropley now, which is hopefully sort of this direction. Done a bit of a loop, 30 seconds to go. And yeah, not too bad. Better session than I thought. I think I loosened out a bit. These Vaporfly 3s, they always feel quite soft until you actually get going. I think the shoe that's not great for going easy, but a race shoe's not much point going easy, is it? But the faster I go, the more responsive I seem to get. Right, 30 seconds. Okay, 3 of the sprints done. That was uphill. First one you saw me coming past, and screwing back down it again for the next one. So I think I'm going to take the camera now, do the last one up this hill, and then we just talk back to Ropley, and we're done. Great. Okay, session done. We're into 15-minute cool down, so sort of a little breather where I got this nice little lane. It's always too steep to run down actually, but good for hill reps. And when he was running down it was right into the sun, so I was a bit worried about my footing. Anyway, let's draw back to Ropley and I'll call up the stats and see what we can see. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. Like and subscribe with that, and see you next one then, or perhaps in the spreadsheet in a minute.
So here's the full details of the Ropley session, quite similar to the Longmoor one, just covering just about 8 miles more or less, a bit over an hour. I suppose I was going a bit faster on average pace here because I was actually running for longer. If we look at the laps, let's just see what the splits were. The first 1 minute one, that was kind of felt like a bit like a warm-up really. I was feeling still a bit stiff there, so only 5:46 pace. The 2 minute one, as it turned out, was slightly uphill. That's probably why in the video you see me going past looking quite slow, but it averaged of 607 gap. Then I turned back the other way and I felt like I suddenly sort of came alive. I think maybe the slightly downhill helped, but that was a 610 pace, only 619 on gap, so not too bad. And then the 5 minute one, pretty much exactly the same pace, 610. That was on the side of the A3, just very slightly downhill. Wasn't really much wind to speak of, but I think wherever there was slightly helping. And then I shooted round the big roundabout here, being careful of course, and quite similar pace, 618. I think sometimes you find you get into a groove with these things, don't you? And you just lock onto a pace. Still in the 2 minute one, I was thinking that still trying to fight that one out, but again that was just slightly uphill. So again, finding it hard to get really get going. But then in the 1 minute one, actually went and found some flatland off the side of the A31, and I got that down to a 5:41. And then the sprints basically went up and down this sort of little country road, Petersfield Road, and then into this one here, which was that called Hook Lane, is it? That's where I put the camera down. So the first one I did off camera. The second one I think I did uphill, and you sort of saw me flying past. The third one you saw me flying back down the camera. That was at 4:31 pace. They were only 4:52 on gap. Nice big downhill. And the last one, 5:31, back up the hill to finish, and then jog back to Ropley. So let's have a look at the cadence. That quick one there, I was 198 when I was really flying down the hill, and even flying up the hill. Bit lower, of course, because I'm not working as hard, but you're trying to sort of get the knees up a bit. And let's have a look at the longer ones. Cadence here, sort of mid to high 180s, which for me is quite common. I mean, I tend to sort of like, I don't know, background of being a track runner maybe, or just getting older and being less flexible, a bit of old man shuffle, that I just sort of have a lot faster cadence than, say, the likes of Andy Rayner. I mean, I think he would do these around at 170, 175, really huge stride, but I mean, obviously helps at the end of a sprint if you can get that leg turnover going. But I think it's something you just run however you feel comfortable in doing. And I think over the years, doing a bit of treadmill work, I have found that my striding has increased just very slightly, but not amazingly so. I think it's always been fairly similar. And then I got to a nice steady state heart rate there, just over 140 in the 5 minute one, which is what you want to see, doesn't it? You want to sort of quickly get into pace and then just lock into it. You don't want to feel that these sort of sessions are absolutely killing it. Although in these shorter ones, because I was perhaps going a bit harder, you can see the heart rate sort of like starts low because of the rest and then kind of just rises up. So it's interesting that in the two longest ones that got to actual steady state, whereas in the sprints, obviously, just working that as hard as you can, to be honest. So yeah, good sessions for sure.